Hi, Sebastian here from Wealth Depot. So last night, the federal government delivered its 2020 federal budget. Uh, Highly anticipated, obviously with a lot of speculation about what was going to come out of the budget in terms of economic stimulus, tax cuts, reforms to superannuation, aged care, business incentive programs around jobs, investment, manufacturing. So our Treasurer Josh Frydenberg diligently provided a budget that was all about spending and hopefully about putting money into the economy and putting more money back into the pockets of employees and businesses to hopefully kickstart the economy in 2021. Quick little note there of our disclaimer: any information in today's presentation is obviously general in nature, and should you want to understand about a bit more about how the measures are going to impact your personal situation, please don't hesitate to pick up the phone or send us a quick email. Always happy to assist. So getting into it, there's a lot of big ticket items in the budget, none more so than the personal taxation cuts, where we're bringing forward the tax cuts that were promised next financial year to this financial year, and then backdating it to 1 July 2020 as well. So definitely a lot there to be considered. The other big one that was part of that was the change in granny flat tax arrangements, where the CGT exemption rules would now be effective from 1 July 2021. Obviously, big support for businesses around wage subsidies for apprentices and tax concessions around that to hopefully kickstart investment back in the business world, and to obviously get more people back into jobs and get that unemployment rate down to a more long-term historical number of around about 5.5–6%. Social Security, a number of additional economic stimulus packages there, not more so than the extra payments to income support recipients at the end of this year in December, and again next year in March. Superannuation, no big real ticket items, but just the desire and the want to ensure that the superannuation system remains sustainable, viable, relevant, measurable, and thus trying to ensure that we all keep more of our retirement savings rather than seeing it being eroded by fees over time. And then first home buyers, there was a bit of another leg up there regarding the loan scheme. For 10,000 more applications will now be available, so that will come in handy with the current impetus and want to get the construction industry going and remain sustainable over the next few years. So personal tax cuts, we'll have a bit more deep dive into this. So the tax cuts that were due effective from 1 July 2020 are now being brought forward to July 2020. So looking at increasing, extending the certain tax offsets, and currently legislated to bring in stage 3 tax cuts in 1 July 2024. So what the proposal is to increase the thresholds around the 19% and 32.5% tax rates. So increasing from 37,000 to 45,000, and increasing from 90,000 to 120,000. So you'll see there that that first sort of stage 2 trench of tax cuts will basically reduce the amount of tax on income earners in those two brackets. The low and middle income tax offset will remain for this year only, before being totally eradicated, and then the low income tax offset itself will go up from $445 to $700. So stage 3, which we expect hopefully to come into play in July 2024, we'll see the tax rates change completely, and the thresholds change as well. So let's see what the next few years brings in terms of having those tax rates legislated. So a couple of quick examples there. So someone earning 40,000, current tax payable would be just under 5,000 under the new proposals, and that's going to provide a tax saving of $1,060 over the financial year. So you can see that low to middle income earners are definitely getting as a relatively tax saving, biggest part of the pie as possible, which is good. Social Security, big change here for greening flat rights, and this is all really about providing a little bit more security to those that are more vulnerable in our community, so the elderly, while they're moving through this next stage of their life, where they need more support, and possibly wanting to have a better security around funding aged care and whatnot into the future. So the change will provide a little more clarity around the tax events around the creation of granny flats, which is a great thing around when we're trying to look at the strategy for aged care and also social security entitlements. So anyone that's wanting a little more information regarding this and how it could impact yours or your parents' situation, please let me know. So what the government's looking to achieve is the current situation where it's a little bit grey area, a lot of inconsistencies and complexity, to more of a simplified understanding of how the creation of granny flats and the future sale of a property would be treated for capital gains. So they're basically introducing a CGT exemption for the establishment, variation, termination of a formal written agreement around the. So with all things, more money in your pocket, is an opportunity to review your current financial plan, to look at how these tax cuts can be better utilised to improve your own financial situation, be it cash flow, investing, opportunities to build super, and look at debt management strategies, of course. So we're here to help. So please don't hesitate to give us a call or drop us an email, and we'll be happy to provide some assistance anytime. So small business, a few things happen in this area here. I won't dwell on these too much. No doubt your fabulous business advisors will provide a bit more in-depth analysis about how this may impact our small business clients. But essentially, immediate deduction for startup and prepaid expenses. From 1st of April, some changes to FBT rules around exemptions around car parking, multiple work-related portable electronic devices, as well as training and reskilling expenses. So that's could be quite interesting for some employers. Carryback losses. This is quite a game changer. Allows you to look back and see if you did make a profit in the 18-19 year and you paid tax on that profit, but you then made subsequent losses in the 19-20, 20-21 and 21-22 year, that you could go back and amend your returns and look at getting some of that tax back. So quite an interesting one. And also simplified trading stock rules and amended pay-as-you-go installment calculations. So some few little tweaks around those things in the small business areas. The wage subsidy, supporting businesses. This is the government's investment into getting people back into jobs as soon as possible. So there's a few areas around that, some new apprenticeships and training schemes, around wage subsidies, capped at 100,000 places. So it will be first in, first served type of thing. So again, check with your business advisors. We went superannuation. Not a lot really was tweaked in the area around superannuation, which was possibly a good thing. We've also seen a lot of changes over the last few years. But hopefully what they did bring in was this Your Future, Your Super, in terms of helping clients to reduce duplication, which in turn should reduce fees. and thus provide more retirement savings in the long term. So there'll be a couple of approaches to this. One will be that your superannuation account will now be stapled with you, or to you, I should say. Thus, moving jobs, your super account will remain a bit more static, and there'll be hopefully less inclination to create new accounts on change of employment due to corporate default accounts or not providing information to your employers. So that information will be also more tightly controlled and accessible to employers, so they can check this and make sure your super is going to the right account. Contributions will be made to these accounts. However, if the employer is providing a better super fund account, be it because of a particular industry that you're working in, due to insurances or maybe lower fees generally, you may elect to be a part of that employer fund. So it's not reducing choice or flexibility; it's just making the super system a little bit more efficient around fees and so forth. One of the big things is, like I just mentioned there, is about the next sort of step in this was to provide an online tool that allowed employees and members to benchmark and compare their funds with other funds in the space. So around performance, for comparison around performance and fees and the like. So interesting what that tool looks like. Also, we use a lot of tools and research and resources to provide advice to our clients, and it's definitely a bit of a minefield around the data that's available. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of format it's going to look like, and how much rich data it's going to have. So let's see what happens. So yeah, it's overall providing a bit more control, a bit more empowerment back to members around their super, and a bit more engagement, which is what we're all about. So security, a couple of quick measures here around some additional stimulus payments. So those on income support payments and concessional card holders, such as the Commonwealth Seniors Healthcare card and pension concession card, will all receive an additional payment of $250 by December this year, and March 2021. It will be tax-free, will be non-assessed for means testing, and it will allow a little bit those that are doing it pretty tough in isolation and around income from their financial sources, be it super, be an investment, to hopefully provide a bit more assistance there. First home buyers, they've been given a bit of a leg up as well. So there's a few different parts to this. We'll go through in a minute. So there's a first home super saver scheme, which is where if you're putting in additional super contributions on top of your employer contributions, you can access those contributions on the contract of building a new home. So there are a lot of restrictions and eligibility criteria around all these things. The Home Builder Scheme, which was obviously launched during COVID, to help to provide $25,000 worth of funding to new builds or renovation projects. The state-based stamp duty and first home buyer grants in Queensland, they are quite generous. So for first home buyers, it's definitely something that can definitely give them that ability to get into the property market, and the government's first home loan deposit scheme, as announced, they're going to provide an additional 10,000 grants, which just means more people can get access to this amazing opportunity, where you only need 5% deposit, and the government will chip in the other 15% to basically secure funding on a new build or existing home up to certain price caps, which I believe have risen from 475 to 650,000. So that's a great thing. Here we are here. Actually, the existing was 475 for Queensland capital cities, and then that's going to change to 650. So where to now? Basically, we're only a day after the budget. Lot to digest, lot to work out still. Obviously, a lot of the announcements aren't legislated, so that we need time for those bills to pass through the both houses of Parliament. But we don't see a lot of hesitation from the opposition to pass the personal tax cuts initially. So they'll flow through ASAP. So we'll just see what really happens there. On our part, we're always here to help. The biggest probably value add of the budget was around granny flat rights, where those changes will have significant impact on how we assess things and use those strategies currently. So definitely reach out and give us a call to understand how the new measures will impact or could impact entitlements to social security and aged care. But also, there's lot of information out there. Quick websites: treasury.gov.au, ato.gov.au, and nhfic.gov.au around some of the measures that were released. Apart from that, thank you for your time today. Obviously, lots to go through. Hope to talk to you soon. Take care.